Hello, hello, hello. Happy Tuesday. Hope everyone had a good weekend. I'll just get to the point. Hopefully, for once. Today I want to talk about something I probably should have covered a very long time ago regarding cat knowledge, we'll say. Bum bum bum. Flea control. Yes. And thank God we live in the age we do, where they actually have the kind of stuff available that actually kills them. So that being said, today I learned and yes, I spoke to the vet today, so this has been verified by her, unless otherwise stated. Always talk to yours before you decide to utilize anything or any idea I may present to you. Never, ever, 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 ever take that as medical or licensed advice as usual. Now, that being said, my boy Magellaen, you've seen him on my channel before. My chunky boy with the shoe obsession. Yes. He's about 8 years old, and he's been on the topical flea control that you put on the back of their neck. And, you know, the monthly dose or whatever, 3 months, however they do it. And, basically, he's been on that for like his most of his life. I mean, again, call the vet. But, you know, since he was old enough in his kittenhood to be putting that on him, he's been on this stuff. And over the years, of course, he's changed different types because prices change, and so does my income. So, he has been living with Grandma and Grandpa for a few months now while I take care of some personal business. And I was informed by Grandma maybe, I don't know, a couple months ago that he was doing a butt scoot thing, which, as any experienced long-term cat owners, is probably worms, which is an easy fix. But he had fleas, and I'm like, well, he's probably due for his stuffs. And I'm just going to leave a lot of rambling details out. I gave it as directed to me in my personal situation I'm about to explain. And I did that, you know, as directed by my vet for my situation, again. And it's not killing the fleas. So I called her today, and basically this is what I learned. If your cat has been on long-term flea control, the topical that you put on the back of their neck, and a lot of them run for the holy hills when they hear the little clicky noise. Yeah. Y'all know. You already know. Alright. Over the years, he has switched brands, but that's because prices have changed. And it's really been more what's good for him to suit my income. You know, of course, his health is the priority, but then if I find a cheaper brand through my vet, I always buy it through my vet. I don't buy the over-the-counter stuff unless she tells me to. I never really had an issue in terms of how long he's been on a certain brand of the stuff. Well, I think that may have changed. So the too long to listen version is, if it's becoming less effective, call your vet. You may need to change the brand. Okay, so that's one thing. But my plot, as usual, has a twist. At one point, years ago, probably more than 10, definitely more than 10 actually. Long story, and most of them ended up getting adopted out. I was just doing my due diligence as a cat lover and a human being, humane person. At one point, I had over a dozen cats in my house that I was taking care of until I could get them helped or whatever. And at the end of the day, I believe 5. I ended up keeping half of them. And they were taken care of. They all had their shots. They were all altered. We're not going to go there. Please don't shame me. Trust me, they were good. I think I spent more a month on my cats than I did on my rent, which was not bad at the time. Let me get to the point. So, because I had so many, and at the time, back in the mid to late 2000s, I believe it was, that FLEA CONTROL stuff, it had been around for a while, but it was still kind of expensive. It was like probably $20 a tube. But I don't know what your vet charges, but mine's very reasonable, actually. So, at $20 a pop times 7 or 8, that's a lot of damn money. That's like $140, something like that, plus tax. And the vet sympathized with my situation. You know, that's why I go to her specifically, because of her rates. Like, she is not trying to get rich. She actually cares about animals. So, she actually had this wonderful idea, and it did work, that you could dose it out. Okay, and the reason I'm bringing this up is because it kind of goes hand in hand with my son's situation. Basically, what she did for me was she did the doctor math that doctors could do with pharmaceuticals, and let me stress that all of my cats at this point had been examined by her. I believe within the last year she requires them before she has to see them again and renew the whole prescription. Okay, that's her office policy. All 8 of them had been seen by her, and so she knew what all of them needed. And what she did for me, instead of selling me an 8-piece of this thing for 140 plus tax, which is like, I don't know, maybe 10 times what she charged for an office visit, general exam at the time, she prescribed to me a big tube of large dog stuffs. Hear me out. Large dog. It was the tube was like 3 times the size, and I think the dog weight. And again, this is my situation. Don't ever do any of this without talking to your vet first. My situation, I believe mine was large dog, so the tube was really big. And she gave me a squirty syringe, not a needle syringe, one for liquids. And she gave me the directions that I'm not going to share specifically, so you don't try to ignore my advice, some of you. But she told me how much to put on them based on their weight. And it was individualized prescription per cat. And at the end of the day, this large dog tube of stuff would dose... Oh, God, I'm trying to remember because it's been so long that I've had that many. Thank goodness. But I think it would dose like all 8 of them. And then I might have like a little tiny bit left. And I can get back to that if you're interested in trying that in a multiple cat situation. After you speak to your vet, I do have tips on specifically storage. Now, that being said, because that's how my vet was doing for me, even though I only have the 1 cat now over the years, after some have been adopted out, some have passed away, whatever the case may be, she has continued to allow me to get the dog stuff, the flea stuff for him, but in a smaller tube. I guess she's changed the dose on me over the years. It used to be different. And we still use the same method. Well, now, let's get to the original point I was making 10 minutes ago. Grandma talks to me. We had just dosed him like 6 weeks ago, and she says, oh, well, the fleas aren't being killed. No, when I say 6 weeks ago, I mean 6 weeks ago from now. So at the time, that it was on time. She says, well, the fleas aren't dying. And he's butt scooting. And again, I mentioned butt scooting, you already know, probably worms. So that was the first thing I said to her. I said, butt scooting, worms, easy fix. I got to call the vet. I don't know if he's got to go in. She'll let me know. What about the fleas? And she says, well, they're not dying. And I said, well, it takes time sometimes. You know, it depends on the animal. It's an individualized situation. And she says, well, all right. And 3 days later, I'm finding live bugs on him still. Now that was weird to me. That got my attention because typically when you put this stuff on them, they start jumping off immediately. But they're usually pretty much dead within 2 days, in my experience. So when she said that to me, I said, okay, that's a little weird. So at the end of the day, I ended up talking to my vet today, and she is going to allow me to make the switch, and I don't even have to take him in or anything. I guess I can order it off the internet or something, but she is going to allow me to make the switch to the regular cat dosage again, and give him that. So the point of all of this that I'm saying is, number one, that was a tip for multiple cat households with income issues. Talk to your vet about that situation. It's possible they may work with you, especially if they're getting their office visit and their jobs paid for in full at time of services are rendered. I'm pretty sure that they will work with you in most cases to help you alleviate some costs. So if you've got a lot of cats in there, talk to your vet about that. Don't ever do it in your own right, please. I can't stress that enough. It's not medical advice, and I'm not telling you to do it. Never ever do it till the vet says okay. That being said, if you're good to go in that respect, talk to her, because it really is cost effective. That literally saved me over $100 a month. Literally. Because one tube of that dog stuff at the time was about the same price. Or maybe, if I recall, a buck or two cheaper. It's margin vary either way. The point is, it could save you a lot of damn money if you got a lot of cats. But it kind of goes hand in hand also with the FLEA CONTROL, because I've been doing this with him for so long that I'm thinking the same brand over time has lost its effectiveness. And to boot, even though the vet cleared it and it's not unhealthy for him, it's safe for him, I'm thinking maybe the dog formula has either changed, or it's just no longer feasible for his situation. He is getting older now. I don't know what happens to cats physiologically and chemically when they get older, but like I said, just make sure you pay attention. Don't always assume that the stuff that you have trusted and it's been tried and true for over 10 years. Pay attention. I mean, obviously, if the fleas get bad enough, you're gonna know. But you want to really pay attention for the worms. I didn't realize that cats butt scooted. I thought that was a dog thing. But apparently, because the weirdo my son is, he teaches me something every day. So, if I wasn't clear on the point I was trying to make, my bad. And I'm not soliciting or endorsing anybody, but if you're in the Tampa area or Hillsborough County in Florida, and you're interested in the vet that I go see, hit me up in the comments and I'll link up with you somehow, because she really is an amazing vet. And every time I've referenced a vet on this channel, she's the one I've talked to. We're very good about communicating with each other and teaching each other stuff. So, again, sorry if I wasn't clear on anything. If I think of anything else I missed, I'll put it in the comments. Remember, vigilance is key. And like I said, obviously with flea problems will be obvious, but worms maybe not so much, especially if you're the kind of person that's not home a lot, you work a lot, or whatever. So, and again, also, I believe if you have more than one cat and one of them has worms, I believe that is I don't know if it's because they share the box or because they would all have flea. I don't know. Just be extra vigilant if you got more than one. Y'all be good to each other. Be good to your babies. Spoil them rotten. Be blessed. Have a good rest of the week. Friday will get here soon enough. It's coming, guys.